God knows what you need before you ask him. He is that acutely aware. He is that intimately involved. He is that interested in your well-being. He is that vested in your journey. Jesus is that in touch with your inner emotions. He is that passionate about your spiritual security. He is that protective of your right to chase life and to seek the kingdom first. Jesus is that possessive of the redemption that brought grace and mercy to your life. He knows what you need, even before you ask him. It inspires me to offer my prayers in search of his will and not as a presentation in search of my way. It makes me listen in prayer more than I speak in prayer. It stirs my imagination to discover what he knew before I told him. It makes me grateful that even when I try to express what I think, he already knows. He already knows how I feel and what I've been imagining. It makes me trust the vision he extends and to walk the path he creates, to accept the grace he releases. We live in relationship with the Christ who knows what we need before we ask him. And I want you, brothers and sisters, to grab the confidence of this as you walk these uncertain paths through this maze of strangled cultural existence, and amidst all the strangeness you see and all the venomous speech you hear, in spite of all that you're made to deal with or to endure or to have to engage, just don't ever forget, while you're making the hard uphill climb, that your God knows what you need, even before you ask him. Now, this text teaches us that the Lord removes the fatiguing pressure of public performance. I'll say it again. This text teaches us that the Lord removes from our lives the fatiguing pressure of public performance. He knows what you need, and it is available to shape your life around your needs, your core longings, your inner passions, your internal needs, so that you don't find yourself on stage making that empty of meaning attempt to perform your way to self-awareness, or to publicly perform your way to human acceptance and success and meaning in life. You can't play act your way into a life of deep meaning. Your performance will never satisfy people enough or long enough for them to let you enjoy the integrity of your personality and to speak your mind when it comes to your mind and to live according to your convictions. You can't perform to the satisfaction of people where it will be okay for you to obey God rather than to appease people. And Jesus puts it this way. He calls them play actors. That's what he calls them. Treating prayer meeting and street corner alike as a stage. Acting compassionate as long as somebody's watching. What they do not for the benefit of who they offer something to, but because they're trying to play to the crowd. They want to get applause, and Jesus says they get it, but that's all they get. He says all these people making a regular show out of their prayers, hoping for stardom. And I love the line Eugene Peterson extracts here as that superlative New Testament scholar. He interprets it this way. Do you think God sits in a box seat? When you live convicted that God knows what you need before you ask, it frees you of play acting, performing as if God sits next to his creation in the box seat of life and holds but one vote on your stage performance and your theater play acting. No, God holds the only vote. And once you get that vote, you live every day to release as much of your authenticity as you can to protect glory belonging to your Christ. His promises are more trustworthy than the stage performance applause that fades when you speak your mind and own your opinion and chase your dreams and demand respect and change your ways and focus on your spiritual growth. And when you get a vision from God and decide to put away childish ways, you have to trust this. At the end of the day, I think trusting God's promises take me further in my life than play acting can keep me center stage. I'll repeat it again. You can't ever perform well enough, consistent enough, long enough to hold certain relationships together in your life because they're already on a shaky foundation. You can't be agreeable enough to feed the ego of those who live like it's their right to be entertained by you. There'll never be enough compliments you can give to a person who walks around starving for more and more compliments. You can never give enough applause. You can never offer enough accolades. At some point, you're going to have to make the decision. I trust God to do the door opening in my life. I trust God to do the territory expansion in my life. I trust God to shape opinion in my life. I trust God to applaud perception in my life. I trust God to protect reputation in my life. I trust God to make me feel alive and loved and appreciated, because when I wake up every morning, I don't ever find myself saying, I want to thank God for this brand new day because this is a day that my neighbor has made and I'm going to rejoice and be glad in it. The devil is a liar. Every day I wake up, I thank God for a brand new day because this is a day that the Lord has made, and he is the only one I am attempting to perform for. He knows what you need before you ask. This text teaches us also that God knows what you need by revealing the promise to provide. Now, in this text, this is not talking about provision of food and water and shelter and protection, though he does provide that. However, this text is talking about the provision of enough healthy self-awareness, the acceptance of your spiritual gifts, an awareness of your human possibilities, a conviction regarding your destiny, a compulsion about your lane in life. God provides to you enough for you to know that you don't need to perform to or play act in order to seize, maximize, or enjoy the presence of God in your life. He knows what you need even before you ask. He provides enough affirmation to make you believe that in your life, all things are possible, and that you can do all things through him, and that you are not just alive, but alive for such a time as this. There is in this text a reminder of his power. Ask me this weekend, how strong is your God? He is so strong that you don't ever have to rely on performance to make a great life. He is so strong that you don't have to play act your way through your lived experience. Stay with me, I'm going somewhere. Your relationship with God is about intimacy. Make no mistake about that. Constant exchange in conversation that we would call prayer. Make no mistake about that. It is about endless fellowship and complete trust. No doubt, all of these define a strong, mature, healthy relationship with the Lord. But your relationship with God is about more than intimacy. It is also about power. And again, this is not power to defend or advance your life against outside threat. This is power to know, hear me, this is power for you to know that you are enough without the need to perform. I want to press on it. He brings his power to your life so that you don't ever have to go around chasing, by play acting, relationships that define your self-worth. So here's what he does. He knows what you need before you ask, and in his provision, access to his power, the intimate exchange of your relationship with him. If you don't get anything else out of it, every time you pray, every time you worship, every time you meditate, you ought to come out of it. If you don't have any other conviction, you ought to have this one. I am quite enough. I'm enough to live my life totally satisfied without having to put a performance on in order to be accepted by other people. And I can't see you, but I can feel your spirit, so I feel it enough that I can say to you, I need you to look at yourself, put your hand on your head, your heart, on your arm, on your chest, and tell yourself, I am enough. I don't need 5 people to tell me that I'm smart or brilliant or intelligent or cute, or that I bring some skill to the stage performance of life. If nobody ever gives you an accolade, you ought to look in the mirror and say to yourself, I know I'm enough. No play acting required. And whatever stations and spheres in life refuse to grant you access, it's okay, because you only want to seek access where your gifts make room for you anyway. Don't ever forget, wherever you have to perform and play act outside of your character, in order to have access, you're going to have to keep play acting to remain present, and at some point that gets tiring. You start to turn and implode on the inside, meaning you start to hate yourself for not living out the streams of your own authenticity. You can fake it for a while, but after a while, faking is going to make you feel toxic on the inside. You hide and suppress the real you so long that when you occasionally try to reflect the authenticity of your thinking, people become shocked and they want to push you back into the corner and the box you have acted out of for so long. How dare you tell me what's on your mind? How dare you speak what are your authentic thoughts? And the reason that they always press those buttons in your life is because they've grown accustomed to maximizing their lives on your play acting stage performance. And here's the good news. God brings his power to your life to prove to you that he knows what you need before you ask. And I'm telling you to trust that, to live out of the center of that, to build your life on that, to find your joy in that. Because at the end of the day, when he made you, when he imagined you, when he creatively structured you, when he allowed you to be born, when he chose your station, when he planted you and called you and ordained you and gifted you and given you favor and anointing, he was trying to tell you, you are more than enough.